Ozzy Osbourne died on July 22, 2025, at the age of 76, and with that, the world lost not just a rock legend, but a cultural force who redefined what it meant to live boldly, loudly, and unapologetically. The news came just weeks after he had taken the stage one last time with his original Black Sabbath bandmates, a farewell that now feels like a final curtain call the world didn't know it was witnessing in the early morning hours. His family confirmed his death with a heartbreaking message. It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love. To respect our family privacy at this time, those words the morning began. But for those who truly knew and loved Ozzy, whether as family, friend, fan, or fellow artist, his death was not meant to be an occasion for weeping. Ozzy had been clear for years about one thing. He did not want a sad funeral. He had talked about it long before the day came, as early as 2011. In an interview with The Times, Ozzy had painted a picture of what he wanted his final farewell to be. It wasn't black suits, hymns, and long, somber eulogies. No, the man who once set stages ablaze with wild antics and unforgettable lyrics wanted something very different. "There'll be no harping on the bad times," he said. "It's worth remembering that a lot of people see nothing but misery their whole lives, so by any measure, most of us in this country, especially rock stars like me, are very lucky." It was that word lucky that seemed to sum up his entire view on life. Despite all the chaos, the addiction, the health scares, and the controversy, Ozzy saw it all as a blessing. He wanted his funeral to reflect that. Instead of a sorrowful event, he imagined it as a celebration. It's not a place to mourn, but a space to say thank you for the music, the madness, the memories. "That's why I don't want my funeral to be sad," he said. "I want it to be a time to say thanks." These weren't just throwaway comments from an aging rocker. They were part of a deeply held belief that even in death, life should be honored with joy, not despair. So when the day came to say goodbye, it was no ordinary service. The Osbourne family honored his wishes with remarkable care. The funeral, held privately in the English countryside, was a gathering filled not with grief, but with gratitude. The location was peaceful, set beneath old trees that felt more timeless than mournful. There were no media cameras, no flashy stages, no dramatic speeches. But what had echoed through the space was laughter, stories, music, and yes, plenty of tears, but the kind that come from remembering someone who lived with passion, not regret. Music, of course, played a central role. Over the years, Ozzy had given conflicting, often hilarious statements about what he wanted to be played at his funeral. At one point, he joked that he didn't care if they blasted Justin Bieber, Susan Boyle, or even the Diddy Men, as long as it made his loved ones smile. In a later interview with NME in 2016, he narrowed his preference to something from the Beatles' SGT, Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, or Revolver. But one thing he was crystal clear about: "I definitely don't want my effing greatest hits album. I never play that thing. I'm effing embarrassed about it. And I definitely don't want an effing happy song. I'm dead." Biting humor never left him. In fact, he even envisioned pranking mourners one last time from beyond the grave. He talked about showing a video of himself asking a doctor for a second opinion on his death, proof that even in death, Ozzy would be Ozzy. True to his wishes, a video did play during the ceremony. And just like he'd joked, it featured a smiling Ozzy in what appeared to be a doctor's office. "So, you're telling me I'm dead?" he asked the doctor off screen, then paused with that signature glint in his eye. "Can I get a second opinion?" The moment lit up the crowd. Everyone laughed. Some cried. And just like that, Ozzy delivered one last unforgettable performance. The playlist continued with carefully selected tracks, none of them from his solo career. Instead, it was a blend of his favorite artists and genres: the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones. There was even a live recording of Black Sabbath's early days. It wasn't designed to impress anyone. It was designed to reflect Ozzy, not the myth, but the man. Throughout the event, people shared stories. Sharon Osbourne, his wife and partner for over 40 years, spoke in a quiet, unwavering voice. He was chaos, and he was calm. He was storm and sanctuary. And I loved every part of him. Their children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack. Each offered deeply personal memories, small but powerful glimpses into the man the world saw only through stages and screens. Jack remembered falling asleep on the couch beside his dad during movie nights. Kelly spoke about how her father never missed a birthday, no matter what tour or show he was on. Amy, usually private, told the story of how her dad once wrote her a song on a napkin after a fight, and how that paper still sits folded in her drawer today. His bandmates and fellow musicians were there too. Tony Iommi, who started Black Sabbath with Ozzy back in Birmingham, delivered what many said was the most emotional tribute of all. "We made a lot of noise together," he said, voice cracking. But behind all the madness, Ozzy was a beautiful soul. He felt everything deeply, even when he tried to pretend he didn't. The crowd stood silent, not out of sorrow, but respect. Ozzy was buried later that afternoon in a private family plot, under a quiet oak tree on a gently sloping hillside. His gravestone, unadorned except for a few engraved words, simply read, "John Michael Osbourne, 1948. 2025, a madman, a father, a legend, see you on the other side." And that was it. No drama, no excess. Just Ozzy, resting in peace. The way he had lived, on his own terms. But the world wasn't done saying goodbye. Around the globe, spontaneous memorials began popping up. In Los Angeles, fans flooded the Sunset Strip holding candles and singing, "Mama, I'm coming home." In his hometown of Birmingham, hundreds gathered in Victoria Square, holding up photos, posters, and old vinyl records as they played his songs on repeat. A mural of Ozzy with wings and a halo was painted on a brick wall downtown. In Tokyo, fans held a silent march. In São Paulo, a tribute concert packed thousands into a plaza to sing every word of Paranoid. Social media exploded with messages from fans, celebrities, and fellow rockers. From Mick Jagger to Post Malone, everyone had a story about Ozzy. Not all were about music. Some remembered his jokes, his kindness, the way he made people feel seen even in a crowd.
One fan wrote on
X. Ozzy didn't just give us music. He gave us permission to be weird, to be loud, to be us. That's the legacy he left behind. Because Ozzy wasn't perfect. He never claimed to be. He was loud, wild, flawed, unpredictable, and endlessly complicated. But he never stopped showing up. For the fans, for his family, for his band. And most importantly, for the music, his death feels like the closing of a chapter that can never be rewritten. But his legacy, it lives on in every riff, every scream, every misfit who found comfort in his chaos, and as the last notes played at his funeral, and the sky dimmed just slightly, one couldn't help but think Ozzy wouldn't want us to cry. He'd want us to crank the volume up to 11, throw up the horns, and live our lives louder and freer than ever before. What would you want your final farewell to feel like? Would you rather be mourned in silence or remembered in celebration? You had to pick just one song to sum up your life. What would it be? And most importantly, if you knew today was your last show, how would you perform it?